Hello. Let's see. I'm gonna talk about I don't know why I feel always obliged to like introduce. Say I'm gonna talk about. I'm sure I'll put a title for the video anyway, but I feel compelled to utter those words. Um, anyway, I think I'm gonna talk about the controversy, the conflict between Aaron Mate and the Young Turks, and uh, Aaron Mate and Jimmy Dore versus the Young Turks, basically, and Glenn Greenwald. So, all right, hopefully this thing works. Yeah, so basically, um, the Young Turks destroyed their Me Too or whatever their their libel against Jimmy, trying to paint him as a misogynist. For basically, you know they both had totally different versions of what happened. um, so the Young Turks had Anna Kasparian had accused Jimmy Dore of, basically said because he wouldn't stop running his mouth about her slander of Aaron Mate. And, he was playing the clip of her slandering Aaron Mate and flipping him off and whatever. And so that's what she was upset about, was that people were finding out she's a monster. And so anyway, she said, like, I'm going to expose this thing that happened that you wrote me an apology letter for. And she's going to use the letter as proof. And which is funny that she even thought like that Jimmy would like deny it had happened if she hadn't had the letter. She's like, I got this letter. You try and deny it. But I mean, it's not, like, I'm not saying like they're it's not at all complicated of an issue, but for her to like weaponize it in this way was something that he made a joke when she was his boss, and she was there with her students as well, because I guess she teaches somehow a class on journalism, even though she does segments where they look at up women's skirts and do like guess who's camel toe and stuff, or they used to at that, back in those days. But anyway, she was Jimmy was her employee at the time, and he was there with her students, and she bent over and like basically flashed a bunch of her students, which I don't know how old they were, if they were minors or not, or what. That would be interesting to find out. But regardless, anyway, she basically, she, like, her butt like popped out of her, because she had such a small skirt that when she bent over, like, her butt popped out and like kind of was exposed to everybody there. And so Jimmy made a joke and said, nice news skirt. And then everybody that was there laughed. He says, like, basically everybody laughed, and then she was embarrassed. She tried to make a counter joke, say like nice old man pants, and it kind of fell flat, and she was humiliated, so he felt bad, so he apologized. He wrote her a note. He might have given her a gift or something, and she said, oh, no problem, don't worry about it, like, you don't have to do that, basically. But she kept the card, she saved the card, and she was going to use it as like weaponize his own decency, I mean, that's certainly what it seems to be, just because now he's defending Aaron Mate against her smearing him as a Russian and a Saudi agent, her and Cenk Uyghur smearing Aaron Mate. So like, anyway, like she apparently then responded to, like, Jimmy responded when he got the threat or got whatever, basically like a blackmail, or her saying like, you know, you're running your mouth, I'm gonna start exposing this stuff. And so he like got ahead of it, did his own segment, you know, laid everything out on the table. And you know, he showed that like the issue, if it was an issue at all, it was not, pales in comparison to her weaponization of it. And arguably wasn't an issue, and arguably she was may have been dressed inappropriately for the situation, if she was, especially if her students were minors. Anyway, so like she apparently then said like that wasn't, that what his story was wrong. He never said nice news skirt. What he said was sexy. He commented on her sexy legs or something. That's I don't know. I forget the exact, but basically that he said her legs were sexy, or commented on her legs. I think, yeah, being sexy, which is interesting if that wasn't what he said, and if she like just came up with that for herself. But anyway, so she says that, then but then Cenk Uyghur finds a clip from like December or I don't know when, and plays it basically of the Jimmy Dore show, where Jimmy and his wife joke about the actual incident, and they joke and they mention it, and they don't say who it was. They just say it was somebody in a newsroom. And you know, Jimmy has been in a lot of newsrooms, so that could be anybody. But anyway, they just said the nice news skirt, and he just mentioned that he saw somebody's whole ass in a newsroom one time. and then you could tell like he kept himself from talking about it more, but like his wife was joking about it. And so Cenk brings this up and plays this clip that he found, this good sleuthing, and he plays that to prove that that it's wrong for Jimmy Dore to say it's blackmail, because he says, no, look, you yourself exposed it on your show, so how can you say it's which I don't even know, like he never exposed it, he never said who it was, he never really said anything. It was just like a moment between them where they were just making an inside joke on a live stream one time, and nobody knew what they were talking about. They were just saying, you know, like he almost talked about it, or no, he was like thinking about it, but then he was realizing like he's on a live stream, and he's like, no, I shouldn't actually tell this story. But then they're just kind of like joking about it enough to know that he had said nice, or that somehow it involved the phrase nice news skirt, because they just said that phrase, or I think his wife said that phrase, or I think they both did. And then the fact that he said that somebody's ass was revealed, or somebody revealed their ass in a newsroom. So all of this totally confirms. And the fact that he didn't say who it was, but Cenk Uyghur says, he plays that clip and he says, so that's obviously about Anna. Um, but it's interesting since Anna said that that's not what happened to her. So it's actually Cenk who's confirming Jimmy's side of the story. He's saying, "Oh no, that's what happened with Anna." Because I mean, there's no way they're gonna make up a false story just to have an inside joke about it on a segment that nobody even knows who they're talking about, right? So it's very good sleuthing that I guess Cenk Uygur, the TYT network is failing, and so he's secretly joined the Jimmy Dore team, and he's digging up evidence to exonerate Jimmy, and then doing cringe videos to just fake trash Jimmy, but do it so badly that it actually just makes Jimmy look better. I don't know. I don't know what goes on with these. It just seems like whatever is happening with the Young Turks, it's I don't know. It's like he has no standards. The Cenk Uygur has like no standards for his own behavior. Like his only ace in the hole that he thinks he has is that he can just sound authoritative and do his little serious face and get all huffy about shit. And that, I mean, apparently he still has some people that still like subject themselves to that show. But like, who are those people? Like what twisted pretzel do you have to be in? I mean, I guess all the Democrats are like twisted into pretzels now because they're supposed to be left of the Republicans, but they also are trying to out imperial, out CIA the Republicans, out, so they're all twisted up. Anyway, but so that's a cool piece of information that I'm not sure who like first did a video like pointing that out, how Cenk had self-owned on this. I know I saw a video about it. I just watched Jimmy's video with Aaron Mate talking about that, but I saw an earlier video about that where, I forget. Sorry, credit to whoever that was or whoever figured that out or noticed that. And because, sometimes, I mean, there's a lot of words get said, and it's the careful eye and the attentive viewer that catches how they the Young Turks. I mean, luckily the Young Turks make it easier just by being the Young Turks, but credit to people doing the work to unravel all their bullshit and show all the receipts of the stuff they've done in the past. But the video, or besides just that update, I wanted to talk about the original issues that caused this. I would say of the original issues that caused this, number one was Russiagate. Russiagate created the division between, it started the division between Jimmy Dore and the Young Turks. And then when Anna Kasparian last year, I think last summer, or maybe it was later. I mean, I guess Jimmy Dore was saying it was during Force the Vote. I don't know when it was. Anyway, at some point, I think it was last year, Anna Kasparian called Jimmy Dore a grifter, and I even kind of forgot about this. I think I remembered it at the time. I don't know if she had tweeted it or what. Like, I remember, I think it was back when I was on Twitter, and I was, I thought it was a big deal for her to just randomly accuse somebody who's like further left of her of being a grifter. But I guess it somewhat blew over, or maybe she just kept like feeding into it and doubling down. People would call it, maybe some people called her out, but she largely got away with it. And certainly Cenk Uygur never called her out for that or anything. But and then the later issue was that I think is really important, is not just the fact that they smeared Aaron Mate as a paid paid by the Russians and the Syrian government. I mean, is certainly evil, and it is maybe the worst part of this, but like another part that might be as important or more, why they did that. They did that because Cenk Uygur had done a tweet where he had said, it was while Israel was bombing Gaza and basically genociding the Palestinians in Gaza, he did a tweet where he said, these people are like fighting over which sky god they want or something. So he's basically mocking the whole Middle East, and certainly mocking Israelis and Palestinians, but basically saying it's their own fault. So, and since it's the Palestinians dying mostly, and certainly was while he was tweeting this, then he's basically just saying it's their own fault because they're just sacrificing their lives to fight other people over sky gods. And it's not, I mean, for one thing, that's not like a rare thing to say. Like, it's as terrible a thing as it is to say, it's not rare even among, pseudo progressives and whatever, people like Cenk Uygur, I guess, to chalk it up to religion and to just say, yeah, that's some intractable conflict because they have these crazy religions from the, whatever, like, and it's very dumb, it's very wrong, it's like, and to do it when at a time, I believe it was during a bombing campaign. It was either during or like right after a bombing campaign by Israel against Gaza. So in a way, when people say like people are distracting, they want to distract everything onto the Me Too issue so that they don't have to talk about the smearing of Aaron Mate and the OPCW issue. As true as that may be, it's also true that they don't want to talk about, I honestly think, as not to diminish at all like Aaron's work and the OPCW and all that, I think this issue itself of the fact that he had the nerve to tweet this, and at a time when the left, like the left was seeming to coalesce around the Palestinian cause, and a lot of different, YouTubers and different people on the left that were at odds with each other were at least agreeing on the one thing that, like, basically, fuck Netanyahu and like, basically uniting behind the Palestinian cause. even to the extent that they were starting to put pressure on the Biden administration to some extent, because even like Democrats were starting to apparently like get him, get angry about the issue. And so this is the context in which Cenk Uygur, arguably the kind of senior, most towering figure of the leftist vlogosphere or whatever, can say something like that. Like, I don't think that should be forgotten. I wish that would play a more prominent, be basically included more prominently in this discussion, because that's a very serious thing, and there's a absolutely great reason why. Like, what Aaron Mate's crime was, the reason that they slandered him and called him a Russian, was, maybe because of his work, and also, and that they hate his work, but also because he had called Cenk out on this disgusting tweet, and he said, well, he made a joke, he's learning from Jimmy more. I mean, maybe he's always made good jokes, but maybe he's learning from Jimmy also how to do good zingers. And so he said, like, well, my sky daddy, or my sky god, is telling me that this is the worst tweet ever. So, it was just like a joke, like, my sky god. It's like, why would you take that so seriously? The worst tweet ever. I mean, like, just, it's a joke. Like, anyway, but he's also serious in the sense that it was a very terrible tweet. It was an immoral tweet. It was a disgusting tweet, but he couched it as a joke. I wouldn't have couched it as a joke. I would have called them, like, Nazi scum or something. Like, Cenk, I would have, like, told him off, like, worse probably, which is problem for me on Twitter. But, like, anyway, like, that's all he did, and that's why they had their meltdown and told him off, because they were getting even Cenk's even Cenk's own cousin chimed in and scolded him replied to his tweet and said, no, cousin, you shouldn't, or no, his nephew. Yeah, his nephew. And he said, like, no, uncle, don't do this. This is bad or something. Because, maybe he has a little bit of solidarity as a leftist or as a Middle Easterner or something. But so anyway, I just think in all this, I have no sympathy for the people who are like, we shouldn't talk about this because we're distracting from something else. Like, you don't know if somebody was even gonna make a video at all. Maybe they just decided, you can't control everything people do. They're not going to do your agenda at all times. Let people talk about what they talk about. But also, this is a very serious issue, and it touches on very serious issues. And I think that this should be an important part of it is, the fact, the Russiagate in the beginning, and then the grifter accusation, and then also the tweet that just crapped all over the people who were being bombed at that time, and just shit all over Palestinians while they were being genocided, and while the left was finally coming together seemingly over this issue. But now this provides a way, the Me Too issue provides a way for people who are basically shit libs, but don't want to say that they're Zionists or whatever, or don't want to, like, admit that they're, like, Zionists. Like, it gives them a way to, like, distance and trash, like, real, like, leftists like Jimmy Dore and Aaron Mate and Glenn Greenwald. So anyway, like, I think that it's important if there's a lot of people who I can agree that they oppose, you know, that they support justice for Palestinians, and we should not lose sight of that, or how craven and disgusting people like Cenk are, who will mock and disparage the victims that are being, you know, wiped out, and blame them, you know, say it's their own damn fault because of their religion or whatever. So yeah, I think like I would love to see him apologize for that. Clearly, instead of apologizing for any of this, he just doubles down. They both just double down. And, you know, but yeah, don't lose sight of that, because that's a very important issue. That's not just abstract, you know, like having that level of disrespect for people who are being genocided with our tax dollars. That says it all, you know. So, you know, I think that's at least as important perhaps as any other element in this, and I think should, you know, stay closer to the fore. But anyway, that's my spiel. Solidarity, comrades, and take care.